Epstein email detail could force Andrew Windsor testimony. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Andrew Windsor is facing renewed pressure to testify before U.S. politicians after newly unsealed emails revealed Jeffrey Epstein directly confirmed the authenticity of the infamous photograph showing the former Duke of York with a teenage Virginia Giuffre. Radar Online.com can reveal. The disclosure comes in a vast cache of thousands of documents from Epstein's estate, released by the House Oversight Committee. Photo confirmation removes key doubt. It includes 2011 messages in which Epstein urges a journalist to investigate his sex trafficking victim Giuffre, who said Andrews slept with her when she was aged 17, while stating, "Yes, she was on my plane, and yes, she had her picture taken with Andrew, as many of my employees have." The image of Andrew with his arm around Giuffre, long dismissed by him and his allies as a possible fake, was first published in 2011 as Giuffre, then 17, alleged she was forced to have sex with Andrew in London. They are claims he vehemently denies. Giuffre, who took her life this year aged 41, has said Epstein took the photo on a disposable camera before she, Andrew, and Ghislaine Maxwell went to dinner and then a nightclub. A source familiar with the congressional files said, "This is the kind of detail that could make it impossible for Andrew to avoid answering questions in America. It removes one of the last doubts his team tried to cling to." Another source said, Epstein acknowledging the photo is a significant escalation. It shuts down years of speculation. Growing pressure to testify. Pressure on Andrew intensified after Suhas Subramaniam, a Democratic member of the House Oversight Committee, said Andrew had not responded to its request to testify in the U.S. He added, "He doesn't have to get on a plane to testify, he can do it remotely." Andrew's links to Epstein have already resulted in his older brother King Charles, 77, stripping him of his titles and forcing him into permanent retreat from public life. Former Prince Andrew, 65, and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, 66, are also set to lose their Royal Lodge home, the Windsor residence they have occupied for more than 20 years, amid renewed scrutiny of their ties to Epstein. A well-placed royal source said, "At this point, the palace's only real next step would be to bring in independent legal counsel to comb through their internal emails, including Andrew's. It would send a clear message that they are treating this seriously and are focused on accountability, not just trying to make the story disappear." The newly released Epstein emails also reveal a 2011 exchange between Andrew, the sex trafficker, and Maxwell months after Andrew publicly claimed he had cut all ties with Epstein. As a Sunday newspaper in the UK sought comment, Andrew reportedly emailed Epstein and Maxwell with the message, "I can't take any more of this." In the chain, the then Duke allegedly responded, "What? I don't know any of this. How are you responding?" Epstein replies, "Just got it 2 minutes ago. I've asked G lawyers to send a letter. The only person she didn't have sex with was Elvis." Andrew then allegedly writes, "Please make sure that every statement or legal letter states clearly that I am not involved and that I knew and know nothing about any of these allegations. I can't take any more of this my end." Epstein's lobbying to discredit Giuffre. Daily updates from the heart of Hollywood, right to your inbox. By entering your email and clicking sign up, you're agreeing to let us send you customized marketing messages about us and our advertising partners. You are also agreeing to our terms of service and privacy policy. Other emails show Epstein lobbying journalists in July 2011 to discredit Giuffre, writing Buckingham Palace would love it if Andrew's accuser was proven to be a liar, and claiming her story was total horses asterisk. Giuffre met Maxwell at 16 while working at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago spa. Maxwell, now 63, is serving 20 years in prison for her part in facilitating Epstein's crimes. The world of royal scandal and dark secrets has erupted into fresh chaos once again as a previously hidden email from Jeffrey Epstein's estate, buried among thousands of pages made public this week, may have just destroyed the last line of defense for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and triggered demands that he be forced to testify in America. This new revelation threatens to pull one of the most controversial royal figures of our time into a U.S. courtroom under oath, and it all hinges on one bombshell detail previously dismissed by his defenders. In the newly unsealed correspondence, Epstein himself confirms that the infamous photograph of Andrew standing with a teenage Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the photo that has haunted royal circles and prompted decades of accusations, is the real deal. Epstein states plainly, "Yes, she was on my plane, and yes, she had her picture taken with Andrew, as many of my employees have." For years, Andrew's camp has dismissed the image as fake, doctored, manipulated, or, at the very least, enigmatic enough to create doubt. But with Epstein's own admission, that argument collapses. According to investigators and legal experts following the release, this confirmation removes what has long been considered Andrew's last plausible defense against accusations of misconduct. The photograph is no longer a disputed artifact but now has the weight of its own creator's validation. That validation could become the linchpin in official demands that Andrew answer painful questions, under oath, before U.S. lawmakers. It's not just the confirmation of the photo that has turned up pressure. The email dump also reveals that Andrew stayed in contact with Epstein far longer than he claimed, reaching out months after publicly stating that all ties were severed. In one newly surfaced 2011 message, sent after the photo first became public, Andrew reportedly appealed to Epstein and close associates to make sure every statement or legal letter states clearly that I am not involved, insisting, "I knew and know nothing about any of these allegations." At the same time, he said, "I can't take any more of this." That email exchange is especially explosive because it comes months after Andrew publicly claimed he had cut ties with Epstein. Now, the newly disclosed evidence suggests the opposite, that private communications continued even after public distancing, casting doubt on earlier denials and raising questions of credibility, complicity, and potential obstruction. The timing could not be worse for the former royal. In November 2025, a bipartisan push in the U.S. Congress resulted in new orders for the full release of Epstein-related documents, files that had remained partially hidden for years. The fresh emails have reignited pressure on lawmakers to demand testimony, even from high-profile foreigners. Members of the U.S. House Oversight Committee have already formally requested Andrew's participation. Supporters of the survivors and legal experts now argue that with Epstein's own confirmation, Andrew's denials no longer stand up to scrutiny. A top aide in the oversight investigation reportedly told sources, "This is the kind of detail that could make it impossible for Andrew to avoid answering questions in America." For decades, the alleged photograph remained the most controversial piece of evidence, a haunting image that sparked rumors, lawsuits, and media uproar. Now, it may become a legal turning point. If prosecutors or congressional investigators subpoena Andrew, the authenticity of the photograph could shift from scandal fodder to legal proof. Even beyond the photo, the newly revealed emails paint a grim picture of ongoing association, evasive language, and possible media manipulation. In one message, Epstein attempted to influence journalists, urging them to dig into Giuffre's background and discredit her claims, a campaign designed to muddy the waters and buy time. What this may all lead to is a moment of reckoning not seen since the Epstein scandal first erupted. U.S. lawmakers, already under pressure from survivors and the public, now have evidence on their side that could, in their view, shatter decades of cover UPS, prestige shielding, and royal privilege. Key members of the Oversight Committee have signaled they're preparing for a new wave of subpoenas and, more importantly, they will push to bring forward any powerful figures, regardless of nationality. For Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the stakes couldn't be higher. Not only could this force a public accounting under oath, but the newly confirmed link to the photograph and ongoing correspondence may undermine whatever goodwill remained from previous settlements or public statements. The atmosphere surrounding him has shifted, from denial and avoidance to legal jeopardy and potential criminal liability. Royal watchers say this may be the final unraveling of one of modern monarchy's messiest scandals. The photograph, once a haunting rumor, is now backed by its creator's own words. Communications once hidden in vaults are now open documents. And a man once insulated by titles and privilege stands exposed, with nowhere to hide. Under U.S. law, anyone with credible evidence connected to a criminal enterprise can be called to testify, regardless of nationality or former status. Some legal analysts expect that if Andrew does not comply voluntarily, lawmakers may explore legal mechanisms, including public pressure, diplomatic channels, or even criminal referrals, to compel participation. Survivors' advocates are already calling the new email the smoking gun, the proof that could force closure on decades-long investigations by bringing one of Epstein's most controversial associates under the harsh scrutiny of American justice. In 2025, the world is watching. The newly unsealed emails have ignited a firestorm of calls for accountability. The one detail, Epstein confirming that the photograph with Virginia Giuffre is real, may be the tipping point. If so, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor may be forced to answer for his past in a way he never dreamed possible.